What's going on, guys? Super Savage 789 here, bringing you guys another video. And today we're doing the finale of What If Roshi Raised Goku. If you haven't seen the last 5 parts, make sure you check them out. I'm really disappointed the series has to end here, but as you'll see, there's not really many changes we can make. So let's cover the rest of Super. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. In the time after the Buu arc, Roshi would end up raising the young Piccolo Jr. on the lookout along with Dende. He trained him in the ways of Kame style, but also teach him various things Kame taught him years ago. His hope for the child is that one day he will take over the role as God of Earth. Dende would also be teaching him some Namekian things, including how to make Dragon Balls. These things will take a while for him to learn, so he's not exactly going to be one of the strongest sea fighters anytime soon. Over with Goku, he'd be attempting to unlock Omen again after using it against Kid Buu. Despite his constant attempts though, he'd never be pushed to the edge to access that new power again. Beerus would still wake up in search of the Super Saiyan God, but this arc would go the same, with Goku going God and fighting Beerus. Goku and Vegeta then begin training with Whis shortly after. Upon describing the fight with Kid Buu to Whis, the angel determines that Goku must have accessed Ultra Instinct without even realizing it. He tells Goku that this is amazing for a mortal to do, and that his training will teach him to reawaken that power. First, however, he should learn to wield God Ki more comfortably, as it may be able to help him in the process. So we'd still end up learning Blue, along with Vegeta. Frieza would still be revived, and after training, comes to Earth with his forces. This also goes the same, except Krillin would take Piccolo's canonical role. They still need to rewind Frieza destroying Earth, and then Goku puts him down. Due to Goku's technical prowess, it wouldn't take him long to figure out how taxing Blue is on stamina. So he'd end up learning the tactic of switching from God to Blue in order to conserve energy a bit earlier. This means that Vegeta would be aware of it and learns how to do it during the time chamber training for the tournament between universes. Speaking of the tournament, the roster would also be slightly different, with Krillin taking Piccolo's place. So after Goku takes the L from Frost, Krillin would step up to fight. We get to see Turtle Master Krillin be an expert tactician, using his buff form as well as his Kienzon and Taiyoken to try and bring out Frost. Just like Piccolo though, while he'd get up close to winning, he'd inevitably fall to the cheetah. He then stepped down after being reinstated upon Vegeta's request. In Vegeta's fight with Hit, Vegeta would be using Super Saiyan God to preserve his strength. He would put up a better fight, but due to a lack of information on Hit's technique, he'd still end up losing. The tournament then plays out like normal, Goku forfeiting and Hit faking the loss. It might feel like we're moving really quickly, but truth be told, there's only so much that can change, so we have to keep it authentic. Moving into the Black Arc, the first half of it also sadly goes the same, except we just see Vegeta and Goku using their God forms. Finally though, we get to see a difference of note. When Goku and Vegeta realize the need to do some more training, Goku would train with Whis instead of with Roshi. This is because Goku already knows the Mothaba, and so he doesn't need to learn the technique. Here we'd finally get to see Goku getting access to Omen on a whim. As for Vegeta, with more understanding about how draining Blue is, he'd end up picking up on Mastered Blue, and so he'd learn that from his time chamber training. When they return to the future, Goku would be able to successfully seal away Zamasu, since he would know how to make the seal and wouldn't have Roshi's coupon by accident. Black would be panicking, which makes Vegeta grin as he goes into his Mastered Blue form. He proceeds to beat up Black without remorse, knocking the body swapper around without breaking a sweat. Vegeta would proceed to use his Gamma Burst Flash on Black, which engulfs him. As he begins to be flung onto Death's Door, his body adapts once more. In a blur, Black moves from out of the beam, landing a hard blow onto Vegeta. He flings him around faster than anyone can see until the Saiyan Prince is left on the ground unconscious. Black stands there grinning at Goku and Trunks in Ultra Instinct Omen. Goku would power up to Omen and begins fighting his doppelganger, telling Trunks to deal with Vegeta. Gowasu and Shin would take Zamasu's jar and use Kai Kai to take it to the realm of the Kais before quickly returning to ensure that Black cannot free him. Black would be smug, declaring that he has the power of the angels at his fingertips as he defeats Goku. Before he can kill him though, Trunks would begin to fight Black in an attempt for a distraction. Vegeta would have still got the Bulma pep talk, leading to him telling Goku they need to fuse, so we get to see Ultra Instinct Omen Vegeta fight Black. While this form wouldn't last long, he'd do a lot more damage than in canon, leaving Black on Death's Door once more. When they defuse though, Black would declare that he has won. No longer does a being exist that can stop him. He will rule the heavens and the earths. As he laughs maniacally though, a sword stabs him from behind as Trunks catches him off guard. He removes his sword slowly and proceeds to decapitate him, declaring that it's over. So Trunks would save his timeline without calling for Zeno. As for the Tournament of Power, the setup for that all goes the same, with the team being identical to what it was canonically. The only change is that we have a weaker Piccolo in favor of a stronger Krillin, Roshi, and Goku. In the beginning, when Frost attacks Universe 7, he'd end up bringing out Piccolo and Ten Shinhan in quick succession. Krillin, however, is able to stay in the arena, fighting alongside Gohan to take out Universe 9. He'd continue fighting with Gohan until noticing 18 in peril, fighting against the Universe 2 trio. Naturally, he'd rush to help his wife, but he'd be surprised when they all stop fighting, amazed by his beauty. With their wills to fight lost, they go to jump off the arena. Gamisaurus rushes up behind them though, knocking them off the arena along with 18 and Krillin. Gohan would then knock out the invisible fighter. Over with Goku, he'd end up whipping out Omen against Kale when our Rampage begins. He'd put up a good fight against the Goliath, using his technical prowess to outmaneuver her sloppy attacks. He'd fling her out the arena, but Kaba would catch her last second, sacrificing himself to put the Patara earring on her. So we'd still get Kefla, who'd end up fighting Gohan to a double knockout. Due to this new showing of power, Jiren would be more interested in fighting Goku, which is what would happen. He'd be doing pretty well, but this level of power isn't enough to defeat Jiren. He'd be overpowered by Jiren and almost flung out of the arena. Luckily though, Roshi's able to capture him and sacrifice himself to keep Goku going. When 17 does his full sacrifice, this would be sufficient enough to allow Goku to feel enough turmoil, pushing him to the next level of UI. Thanks to this, Goku would be able to finally defeat Jiren, since he wouldn't end up falling out of the form on a whim. He'd be declared the MVP of the tournament, and would make the wish to revive all the universes. The Broly movie would happen pretty much similarly, until when Broly goes berserk. Goku would once again wield Ultra Instinct to defeat Broly, which I believe is what would happen. Chila and Lemma would be forced to steal the Dragon Balls and wish for Broly to be sent to Vampa a lot quicker, so the movie would be finished a lot sooner. Vegeta would be rather jealous of Goku's strength after this, and begin training more intensely, leading to Beerus taking Vegeta as a student earlier. So Vegeta would learn Ultra Ego and Hakai here sooner, thanks to Goku's increased strength. The Moro arc would also be solved a lot sooner, since Goku and Vegeta are both much stronger. In the first fight with the Wizard, Goku and Vegeta overpower him, with Goku using the Mothaba to seal Moro away. His jar is then given to the Galactic Patrol to look after, with them admitting that he's going to be easier to monitor now. At the time of scripting this, the Granola arc isn't done. However, I imagine it would either go the same, or that Granola would just fight Frieza instead of the Saiyans. And Superhero would also go the same, except that Piccolo wouldn't be hanging out with Pan. He'd likely still want Gohan to rekindle his fighting spirit though, so the movie would pretty much go the same. But guys, that's where we're gonna have to leave it here. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below any requests for future videos. This series has been really fun, even if Super was kind of lackluster. And yeah, bye!